All right, yo, it's your boy Yoshikid Neo, and we are back. The world of Boridil, the ruination of Boridil. And today, let's see, what's gonna happen today? Oh yeah, party's gonna revisit the tomb after they had just barely gotten out. And once they do, they're gonna find the dark secret that lies within, as well as the truth behind why a demon lord was trapped down in this particular tomb. Should be a good time, and they should find a couple of goodies that I left down there that they had not gotten a chance to get to. So yeah, should be good. But let's go ahead and begin. Or, well, get close to it. Hello.
Hello.
How go?
It goes.
Goes. How go it with you?
Chillin'. Per the usual. What, when do you start your job, Jeff?
The 20th.
20th. You got a bit of time.
Yep.
How exciting.
Yeah.
Is it, I forget. I think you told me, but I forgot. Did the, is it like work from home and work from office?
No, I think it's all just work and office.
Okay, that's not too bad though. Could be worse.
Yeah. I'm getting paid, so.
Yeah, that's really a good thing. How's everybody's day going?
Went to the store, got me some food. Don't have to leave for a while.
There you go. That's always fun.
How about you?
Sleepy, but you know, that's part of life, I think.
Yeah.
Hello, Kirsten.
Oh, I have good news.
Good news, you say?
Paint has shipped.
You what?
The paint has shipped.
Ooh,
Paint.
excellent.
What is this paint for?
She volunteered to paint the minis for Nemesis.
Ah.
Should make it really pop, you know. Unlike our heads yesterday.
Yeah.
TPK. You guys want a TPK?
What?
That's what I'm reading here. Kevin wants a TPK. He said he's sick of this shit. All right,
It's
well,
just Kevin blowing smoke.
he put that in the universe. I can't help it.
You always think it's in the universe.
It is in the universe because I'm in the universe. I am the universe.
I am your god.
Oh no.
I'm
Let
the
power
Senate.
get to his head.
I am a bit confused why you let
Why I just shouted
xenomorphs
that?
in. No, let xenomorphs in because those are kind of
Mean.
end of the world scenario.
Yeah, and who better to prevent the end of the world than level 20 wizard?
Listen, it only takes like one to start like breeding hundreds of them in the world. And you get a problem.
Yeah, he's had a xenomorph character created. I think it's a xenomorph bard because I've got a homebrew race of it.
Oh,
So he
no.
ended
Wait,
up
as
making-
in like a person possessed by a xenomorph?
No,
Or-
literally the xenomorph walking around hissing and clicking or whatever.
Really?
Yeah.
Can the xenomorph talk?
Nope. Which is hilarious that it was a bard.
Right? I mean, I guess it could be like a instrumental bard that might, maybe.
Ah, yes, the man himself. Hello, Kevin.
Ah, hello.
Please explain the specifics of playing a bard that can't talk.
A bard that can't talk.
Your xenomorph bard, I think.
Oh, I mean, in order to, I could play it one of two ways. I could give him the ability to speak to people in their minds, or I could Wile E. Coyote it and just write something, and show you guys what I'm trying to tell you. But as far as it being a bard, I don't know. I mean, he could like screamo and gibberish.
Yeah!
I mean, the xenomorph.
It sound like he's singing in Simlish.
Yeah. I don't even know if they could do that. That's too complex.
Yeah, it'd probably just be like, yeah.
I feel like the only sound they make is just like hissing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what they do.
I just like picture like a loud roar, like almost like T-Rex.
I don't think they can roar. I think they can just like hiss really like loudly.
Yeah.
Oh no, they roar. It's
Really?
like a,
I thought they
higher roar.
I mean, the masterpiece that is Alien
guess, like a
versus
screech.
Predator, they roared.
So if I were to do it, I'll have to like RP like or something like that.
And then you pop out as a little chest burster and begin your journey.
Yeah, exactly.
When
sound like Jack Black.
Yeah. It's
Little
a master
crab.
exploder.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Mr. Brady,
Mr. Jeffrey.
one of these spells I got here, I want to double check. This does not mean that it consumes, does it? Or does this mean it consumes? I'm not reading consumed anywhere.
Yeah, if it doesn't say that, then I'm pretty sure you just have to have it. And then yeah.
Could I have casted this before I left the hut this morning?
You don't have it prepared. And I just watched you unprepare mass suggestion.
Yeah, I know.
So no.
I was gonna see if I could do that. If not, it's okay.
That is a no.
Dears.
That's a no for me, dog.
No, but just for next time though, could that be something though?
Yeah, if it's prepared, you should be able to use it as stated.
Okay.
Well, first you got to get a statue like that.
You said you gave it to me already though.
Did I?
Yeah, I thought you said you gave me one use of it.
No,
Or
that's
something
for
like that.
one-shots. When you take spells like that, as we're progressing through, you gotta end up finding the... I don't believe you don't have anything in your inventory that says it.
I can
Yeah, like my necklace that I had to make.
Yeah, she had to make a necklace.
Yeah, I'm like 100% sure you let me do this before, but it's whatever.
Before, in a one-shot,
Like
for sure.
not in this, no, not in a one shot. Like I've only ever taken contingency here, but I'm not gonna argue over it. Like I'll find this stuff.
I didn't even know you had contingency.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let us see. We shall begin. Since we are all here. The recap. Last session, we started with you guys inside of Rakim's tomb. After you had solved the puzzle to unlock the golden doors that held the king's remains. or at least that's what we all figured. On the other side of that door, though, instead, there was a pedestal in the center of a room with a large blue sapphire, as well as a dark-plated Death Knight guarding said gem. The Death Knight talked to you all and essentially made it very clear that you were not to enter, for you are not... I don't remember if he said worthy or if he said something else, but regardless, you weren't welcome, especially because he figured you all were grave robbers of sorts. So, because of this, interesting. Hold on. Yeah, so because of this, you all drew your weapons and began fighting. But it was a very short fight, very short indeed, mainly because there were ghosties that were capable of possessing you guys, and they ended up possessing two of you, and then one of you that was possessed happened to be a wizard with the polymorph spell, which was used, and, you know, one thing led to another. A frog started ribbiting down the, what's it called? The hallway. And Jimothy ended up giving in to the Death Knight's wishes of ending the fight. And that was it. The ghosts unpossessed you, and you all were able to go and talk to the Death Knight. But you were not allowed to enter the area. After a couple sentences, I'm pretty sure, it didn't take too long, he realized that you all had unleashed Sigorius, and not only that, but some of you had made a pact with Sigorius, which he ended up saying this would be your tomb, and began to bring down the very ruins around you. Now, because of this, Tolktir darted in, grabbed the sapphire, and used his teleport spell to bring you guys right outside. And just before that, Lightbringer had spoken to Lid in his conscience, telling him what had happened. And yeah, you guys ended up appearing outside, and very shortly after, Lid appeared as well. So as you guys tiny hutted to take a rest, a much needed rest, Lid summoned a large grouping of undead and started to unbury the tomb itself. And you all went to sleep, did a long rest, woke up the next morning, and as Jimothy and Tolktir were arguing over what had just transpired and what Tolktir could undo, but was refusing to do so, Lid came and asked if you all were awake so that he could make this excavation a little quicker, in which he summoned a gray worm, which popped out of the ground and burrowed immediately to the entrance of the tomb. He then asked if you guys wanted to go back in with him, in which Tolktir darted outside, ending the tiny hut. And that is where we will begin our session, is with you guys hanging out with Lid. Take this way.
Oh, okay.
Change the music. Anyway, so you guys are walking towards, well, Tolktir sprinted up to catch up to Lid, and the rest of you are kind of just sitting there. But you can see that Tolktir is eager, it looks like, to go back to the tomb maybe, or he's just eager to get out of the argument with Jimothy. Who knows? But does the party proceed? What's going on, Matt? I love D&D 2. One day we'll do a one shot.
Looking at the imaginary camera and
get you in.
There's a snail trail of water following me.
A snail trail of who?
Water.
Excellent. That is true, yeah. Tolktir sort of got the gist of what this gem is capable of, but it requires more than just attunement. So he's been trying to make it rain essentially, and it has not worked yet. But he's got it dripping, that's for sure. It is definitely dripping, and it's leaving a trail.
It's dripping.
Mm-hmm. So do I have
As I go in the tomb, I'm gonna pull out my mage hand with a bullseye lantern, and like catch up to Lid.
Okay.
And I will also light a torch and proceed to follow.
Where's the sapphire?
Tolkir has it in his hands.
Tolkir, can I put it in my bag of holding?
But I'm using it.
But do you need to be using it?
I like the water.
Well, I prefer it in the bag so it's safe for now.
I place in the bag
Yay. Okay.
as it leaks water everywhere.
Yes. And as you place it in the bag, it, is consumed by the bag and never to be found again. I'm just joking. Wouldn't that be shitty?
I would be so mad.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. Anyway, let's see. So yeah, as you guys are starting to walk down the tomb, you can feel the rumbling suddenly stop. And as that happens, Lid reaches down and he touches the earth with his hand. Thank you for your services, friend. You are released. And you can hear a bellowing echo coming from the clearly carved trail to cavern, expanse. I don't know. But it echoes and it's really loud enough to where you have to cover your ears. Otherwise you fear the noise and the vibration to burst your eardrums. In which Lid stands up, turns around, and he looks at all of you doing this. He's like, you don't really have to worry about eardrums when they've already decayed. To live in the flesh again, well, some would think of the undeath as a blessing. Others think of it as a curse, and well, I'll be honest, I see it as both, but as of right now, it truly is a blessing indeed. Now, before we get down in there, I don't know what the state of the tomb will be. All I know is, I recall Lightbringer saying that you all ended up disturbing something to cause this whole collapse. Perhaps you could run me through the events of what transpired yesterday so I can begin thinking of what to do in case it happens again.
Well, I don't think it's going to happen again.
No, and
Yeah,
why
this-
is that?
This seemed to be a resting place for one of the old prince's friend, or a guarding place for that sapphire, and one of Prince Zuka's I don't know, companions
Hold
was
on,
there
hold on.
guarding it.
So you're telling me that this here is not the tomb of King Rakim, but perhaps of someone else?
Oh, this is deeper. I mean, and also there was a demon lord here.
I believe
trapped.
Lightbringer had told me about that.
Yeah.
Sigorius, his name.
Yes.
Demon Lord of the Orcs. Interesting. It does, make sense that the Demon Lord of the Orcs would be trapped within the tomb of the of King Rakim. But for it to seem so easy for you all to release him, that's a different story altogether. And now you're saying this tomb isn't, in fact, King Rakim's, but I was told by very reputable sources that this here is the tomb of the king of the Orcs, which
Well,
by all rights would have been Rakim back in the time of the Cyrodiil Empire in which this was formed.
It was kind of a false tomb. They kept saying that he was here, but whatever was here was to protect something. Rakim's apparently alive and is not buried here.
yeah, there's the signs written on there are words written on the wall saying King Hakim lives.
Huh. Interesting.
About 11 times or so.
Well, that is interesting indeed. So, it wasn't here to house his body, but perhaps it was here to house his greatest achievements, perhaps? Such as Sigorius being captured or bound for however long. Well, I guess not long enough, since you all released him. I joke.
No. Just, it's all good. Just, they exerted control over all of us, and that was kind of, honestly, not
that
bad,
would make sense. Demon lords do have a knack of things. That's why they typically get bound and buried, as opposed to being out in the open public. Even though a demon lord may seem to be suppressed, they are anything but. Their dark thrall is very captivating. It can turn the purest of souls to corruption, which it seems to have taken hold of some of you then, forced you to comply with its will. Very interesting stuff. Very interesting indeed. Now I'm even more intrigued as to what it is we are going to find.
Yeah, I mean, there might be more to the tomb below the tomb we were at.
Yeah, perhaps. Now, this bodyguard, you said he had some type of connection with King Rakim?
Yeah, he said he seemed to know. I think he said he knew him in life. He looked kind of not alive.
Yeah. So he was undead as well.
Seemed to be more of a martial character. Carried a big sword or battle
Big
axe.
sword, you say?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, couldn't really stop me from teleporting out, so.
That must be if he was connected. Was he a tall fella, Goliath-like,
yeah.
much like your friend?
Oh yeah, quite tall.
Ah, yes, Abel. Is that what, did he call himself Abel by chance?
I looked everybody else, I think.
I don't think we caught a name. He just called himself the Death Knight.
Well, did he have long flowing locks? Well, maybe not very flowy now that he's turned to undeath, but
I minor illusion what I saw and put my hand behind it so you can see.
Interesting. That is Abel. But very curious as to why Abel is here in a tomb that doesn't house his king's body. And it's also even more curious if you all were able to unleash the demon lord without his intervention. Otherwise, I assume he was within the inner chambers, just awaiting.
Oh, behind this large, like everybody else, was a gold door.
Very interesting. So he was put in place of something else to protect, instead of the demon lord that lies down the hallway. Which means the stories must be true.
Or he's being.
Well, I'm a historian, and I've been following the trail of the Cyrodiil Empire to figure out how exactly King Rakim was able to do what it has been telled And that is of binding a demon lord to the material plane, preventing him from taking his rightful place as Prince of Demons. A very notable feat, if you ask me. Now, the thing is, though, it would take very extraordinary power to be able to do such a thing. And of course, I'm sure you all have saw the flashing lights yesterday when I uprooted a legion of undead to begin excavating. If it's anything that I do desire more than the facts of history that history has to tell us, it's power myself. And power to bind demon lords, to prevent them from doing harm. Well, that seems mighty tasty to me. Now,
I mean,
the only reason I bring this up is why would someone go through all that trouble and put them in a place where a group of adventurers can come in and, without even meaning to do it, unleash said demon lord, when there was also a powerful knight within the crypt as well, but guarding a sapphire instead of the resting place of said demon lord? It doesn't add up.
no, that is true. Unless it was set up that way on purpose, but that's even more confusing.
Exactly. But we'll find out more. Were there any documents hidden within this tomb that you all had found?
No documents per se, just lots of carvings and lots of Rakim is alive messages.
He was alive.
There was a desk in the first room, but I don't think there was much there.
Well, I guess we'll find out here in a moment, won't we?
I mean, we'll see how much it,
Rakim's
collapsed.
alive. And you watch his lid keeps on saying Rakim's alive under his breath, and he's sort of like stroking his chin in thought. Rakim is alive. Ah, looks like we've made it.
Here's that desk I was talking about.
Oh, yeah, so it is. And Lid walks over and begins to, sort of move rubbles and stuff like that. Interesting. This thing seems to have missed every part of the big pieces, as he points to some of the large pillars and piles of rock that you now see around you. And he picks up one of the tomes and sort of brushes it off, and he begins to flip through it and starts to read. Interesting. There's quite a lot to go through here, and I like to take my time. Sometimes I reread the whole book before I come to any conclusions. So don't mind me, I'm gonna be here a while. Luckily there seems to be an unbroken chair. And he pulls the chair out from under the desk, and he sits on it backwards because his shell won't allow him to sit on it normally. You all, I guess, can go around. If you find anything of interest, perhaps maybe call for me, and I'll come take a look before you touch anything. Wouldn't want you to bring it down a second time now. But in all seriousness, please don't, because I don't feel like having to spend the next few weeks to a couple months of trying to dig my way out.
The books he's reading, what language are they in again? Are they in the Orcish?
Correct, Orcish.
Okay.
Which only Babushka reads, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She is the group translator now.
Which, also, check this out. Everyone, if you would please refer to the chat real quick. It works again.
Boom.
It works.
I would like to study or inspect the statue that Sigorius came out of.
Okay. Secret message. No one will ever know. Anyway, yeah, so go ahead and roll me investigation. So as you look it over, a good portion of it has been collapsed on by a rock and has shattered it. You do remember that it had this faint purple glow about it, and the moments leading up to Sigorius being released, it grew brighter and brighter, and now it's this dull green, sort of like mossy rock statue, but it still depicts a sort of humanoid shape with horns and bat wings coming out of the lower back. And as you're looking over it, nothing seems to tell you that it's active anymore, as if this was perhaps maybe the binding point for Sigorius, and him being brought to this is what led him to be unbound. And then as you start to lose interest and look around, you notice that underneath where the legs are, you can see sort of scuff marks, as if this wasn't actually resting here purposely for very long. More recently is when this was placed. Ah, look at here. And Lid hops out of the chair and he licks his finger and starts turning some pages. Read that line right there, talk to you.
You're gonna have to give me like a minute or 10 to cast a ritual, actually.
You don't speak? Oh, that's fine. I'll read it out loud. How about that? Save us some trouble. Okay. Within this tomb lies the true Lord, or the true Lord of the Orcs. Now, what does that tell us? It tells us a couple things. That this tomb was, in fact, the holding place of the King of the Orcs. But the thing is, this is the only passage I have found so far that actually says Lord instead of King. Now, why does that make me think? Babushka, you speak and read Orcish, do you not?
Yes.
What does this word say? Out loud for us, please. And he points to the word that says chieftain.
Chieftain?
Correct. Now, he flips a couple pages. How about here? And he points to another one. And you read it again, and it does say chieftain. Now, if we go back, the context of the sentence is what changes that word in Orcish. And the reason I bring that up is very straightforward. You see, Orcs are nomadic people. They don't have lords, they don't have kings. What they believe in is the chief of the tribe. Chieftain is symbolic to lord and to king. So, when somebody read this tome and it said the Lord of the Orcs, or it said the Chieftain of the Orcs, it could be misconstrued as king or lord very easily, especially to the uninitiated of the language. Which means that my informant mistranslated. This is not the king of the Orcs, but rather the Lord. And you might be asking yourself, what's the difference between Lord and King? Well, I'm going to tell you. Like I had already previously stated, Orcs believe in their chieftain, but there has only been one in the entire history of the race that has been known as the Lord of the Orcs. And his name
Zagorius?
That is correct. You get a gold star, son.
Yeah.
Except for I'm fresh out.
Oh.
So, yeah, I owe you. But anyway, yes, Zagorius, the Lord of the Orcs. What they don't have a word for in the Orcish language, believe it or not, is they don't have a word for demon.
Weird.
And the reason for that is because orcs never truly believed in demons or devils. They only believed in things they could actually see, things that they could kill. It's a naive tradition, but a tradition nonetheless. But regardless, Zagorius became the demon lord of the orcs because he himself was of orcish descent. Now, I don't know every detail about Zagorius' upbringing and uprising to demon lord ism. I don't really know what the terminology would be. But he was once a mortal orc himself, who sought great power in very dark aspects of life, which is very interesting. So this here is not the tomb of Rakim. It is the tomb of Zagorius, which perhaps means that his actual body was here, which was why it was so easy to bind him to this very tomb. Very interesting, Rakim. Very interesting. He truly is a scholar and someone I would very much like to meet if he truly is alive. Which, speaking of, I did see a few passages within the few of these tomes as I was looking them over, glancing real quick. And I do see that Rakim's alive is repeated quite often. Perhaps maybe this is to serve as a reminder to Zagorius if he were to ever be released, so that he knows what his first task must be. Very interesting. But I apologize. You all go back to your search, and I'm gonna continue to read. But now that we all know that a demon lord was housed here, there's probably other dark magic, so I would be careful once again.
Okay. We also just saw the thing that Zagorius is trapped in, this or statue that it has touched to unlock him, seems to still be there. Would you like to take a look at that?
Sure. Give me a moment. And he puts the book down, and he takes something out of his pocket and places it, and then he closes the tomb. And he does this very gently. I'll go ahead and lead the way.
Start walking.
Brady, can I look around and see if the scuff marks lead me anywhere?
They lead you... It's hard to see, but they lead you towards the entrance of the tomb.
Gotcha.
Interesting. Yes, this statue does have the likeness of Zagorius. And he goes up and he starts to touch it. It's definitely lost any magical luster that it once held, but it's made out of, what is this? This is, not real familiar rock to me. Yeah, talk to you. You are a mason, are you not?
I mean, I've dabbled.
Perhaps maybe you've seen something like this. Perhaps I know Dwarven folks, masonry is one of their specialties, is it not?
Yeah, stone cutting, masonry. Yeah, I can take a look at this.
You can go ahead and roll a history check.
Yeah, I think it's basing off of the stone cutting, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Mr. Lid, this statue was just placed here recently. If you see the scuff marks.
He looks down. And he sort of like smudges his finger and the scuff marks go away. But I'll be.
History.
Was anyone in the tomb before you got here?
No, actually, and I mean the tomb was wide open, which was a little strange to me. Most tombs that I come to, they've got large doors that are almost physically impossible. There's usually some type of mechanism that opens them, but this one was just wide open. Okay, so Tolktir, as you're looking it over, this is very rare material, and it's very, very foreign to the material plane. You remember reading in the histories of the Dwarven people, especially in the histories about the fall of the Dwarven people, that this particular stone is usually seen in sites that deal with summoning of demons. It's some type of abyssal rock structure.
I relay that. This looks like an abyssal summoning stone.
Very interesting indeed. This all has to be some type of coincidence. Some type of setup, perhaps. I think your previous thoughts and allegations about this whole thing being a setup for Sigorius to be unleashed, I believe that to be true, based on the evidence at hand. Not only was there a mistranslation in the scriptures over there, but now we see the very abyssal rock used to summon Sigorius from wherever he is. And it just so happens to have been placed ever so recently. But why out in the open? Wouldn't it be very... It's too sudden. I imagine when you all walked down this way and turned and looked at this glowing statue, you knew something was up.
We actually went the long way, and this is the last thing we saw.
Interesting.
But yeah, when we saw it, it was kind of peculiar while I was here. And then
Very
it started to...
Summon a demon lord.
yeah.
Wasn't there a wall?
It sort of also drew us in and made us touch it.
What was that you said, Babushka?
So there was a wall?
Hold on. Right here?
Mm-hmm.
You mean to cover up the statue?
Mm-hmm.
And Lid puts his warhammer, leans it up against the wall, and he starts to touch around sort of the edge of the wall over here. And then he gets down to the ground and he well, look at there. You see how the tile work is all straight and very even all throughout the rest of this hallway. But right here, it seems that they changed the pattern a bit. But that's not because of the tilation. No, Babushka's right. There was a wall here. Which means that this statue was hidden so that those preceding wouldn't think about it. Yes, this all's starting to look... Actually, it's starting to look more grim as we make these discoveries. This entire tomb was a setup to unleash the demon lord of the Orcs. But I'm wondering as to why they would try to target me to do such. He starts stroking his chin. Unless... No, you all were contracted, were you not? By some Ninderog, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one that told you about this here tomb and the sapphire.
Yes.
Did he perhaps give you an explanation as to why he was unable or unwilling to come in here with his lackeys?
Did he? I assume
Well,
he was...
I
he's
understand.
The order.
I understand why he wouldn't go, you know. Chromatic dragons don't possess the skills such as your silvery friend. And being able, Well, unless of course they use their own magical powers. But they also, it's beneath them to become a lesser being. Why would they ever try to mask their immaculate form? I believe is their saying. But Nenderog sent you all. Did he mention perhaps the timeline that he's tried to get in here? He obviously didn't say anything about why he didn't come himself, or send even his most trusted lieutenant.
I look over to Trina.
And me, I wasn't there when he gave you guys the order to come here.
Yeah, Mr. Lightbringer, do you have anything? Any remembrance, perhaps? Babushka? Jimothy has been awfully quiet. He seems sad.
Not that I know of.
So perhaps maybe Nenderog's in on it too. Which doesn't make a lick of sense. Because Nenderog and Sigorius were mortal enemies. In fact, Sigorius, from my understanding, is the only being to ever... I wouldn't say that he defeated Nenderog, but the battle turned into a draw, from what I heard. Which is actually quite terrifying to know that a dragon can scuffle with a demon lord enough to where neither of them die, but to the point where the dragon retreats. Very unlike a blue. Very unlike indeed. So there's no, I can't imagine any way of him knowing that Sigorius is trapped within this here tomb unless Nenderog had just recently been told about the sapphire in which he covets. Because he must have been looking for it for quite some time. Which means not only was I tricked, but a great dragon was tricked as well. And...
What? It's been hundreds of years, right? If not 1,000 years. I mean, perhaps they resolved their differences and might be working together now.
Oh, I gotta sit down for that one. That is quite hilarious. Resolve their differences and let bygones be bygones, said the great blue dragon. Never in my lifetime would a blue dragon ever concede a grudge as such. No.
Really? Even though he's getting older? Perhaps he wants to be younger?
Oh, I'm sure he wants to be younger.
Maybe Sigorius can give him that?
Highly unlikely that the pride of a blue dragon, and the arrogance along with it, would ever allow him to even fathom an idea of allowing a mortal enemy to come in possession or anywhere close to that dragon's soul.
It was worth a shot.
Yes, and I mean, I can't say for sure that it is untrue. I guess there is always the possibility. But that one is definitely a 1 in a couple million, if not billion, chance. That was set up for a joke, and no one took it.
No, I got the joke. More in the literal value sense, but
Well, I mean, at least it means Nenderog was played too, and not just us.
Correct. And whoever did play him is going to be hunted for the rest of their being.
But in your experience, who would have the power to deceive all of you and want the demon lords back into the world? I mean, you've been alive for a while.
Yeah, alive is a term I would use very loosely, but yes. And I don't know that I was deceived, but I was given a tip by a informant about this here tomb being discovered as of recent, so I came to take a look. Obviously, you all beat me here, as I was taking in the architecture of the tunneling, getting down here. It takes me quite a long time to get through an entire tomb. Even one as small as this could take me months just to get to the front door. Because there is always some sort of story. And with the magics that I possess, I can relive those stories. But anyway, the informant definitely was either A, set up to give me this misinformation to try to have me summon the Demon Lord. Someone definitely used the arrogance and the greed of Nindarog to get him to send someone down here to attempt to summon the Demon Lord, in which that someone happened to be you all. And you don't necessarily need the power to be able to do such. Sometimes the knowledge is the power itself. So, you do have a really good question. Who actually wants to see Sigorius freed? Especially being that he is the Prince of Demons, meaning he is the only one that can incite the demon incursion on the material plane for the title of Demon Lord, or Prince of Demons rather. And the only thing I could think of is another demon. Or perhaps maybe a long-time follower of Sigorius. But to my knowledge, many don't follow demons in this day and age. They've been all hunted down by the Thurian Empire. Most of them, anyway. Demon cults are not as prominent as they used to be. They still exist, obviously. But they are hunted tirelessly by those religious zealots. They even hunt folks that just do petty magic tricks. Can you believe that?
Yes, I can.
Well, it's blasphemy, that's for sure.
So, I was thinking, could it also be that maybe Nindarog didn't tie with him and he really lost way back in the day?
Perhaps. But given his old age, I don't believe he would be up to fighting him again. Especially because demon lords do not age. They only get stronger as time goes on. And Nindarog, even though he is arrogant, he is not stupid. He would prefer Sigorius to stay entombed for eternity, never having to face that shame of losing.
I guess.
Do you think that might be the first place he goes now that he's released?
It's to Nindarog to finish what he started.
He said something about getting back to his plane. And that's why he was trying to trade for someone's soul.
That would make more sense to me. He's been bound here for who knows how long. I would say at least 1,000 years or so. Which means he needs to go back to his plane in the abyss, his layer of the abyss, and regain his strength before moving on.
Oh, good.
But we've all been blindsided by this whole revelation, so perhaps maybe that's not even in the cards. The only thing that will tell us is time. Time will tell us exactly what's about to happen once it gets there.
Well, can we? Back to the statue. Can we do anything with this?
I'm sure you could possibly fixate it into a different statue and summon a different demon if you'd like, but I would advise against it. But you do all as you please.
I meant more along the lines of sealing it, using this just to reverse summon, you know.
Interesting. Unfortunately, no, the magic has left the stone, from what I can tell. But there are people that I think would possibly buy it for a high price, and if you're trying to destroy it and get rid of it, well, The Thurian Empire would be one that I would contact and just tell them you found a demon cult and that you were able to slay them all, but you can't get rid of their demon relics. They would come in here and light the whole place up with holy fire.
That's a hilarious option. Yeah, aren't you guys on the run from them?
I am.
You're on the run from the Thurian Empire as we speak.
Well, I mean, pretty much everyone from the group that I was traveling with is dead, and they weren't technically specifically after me, but I do have associations with magic users, so I don't know how long their memory is, but there's a chance that they might still remember who I am if they see me again.
Very interesting. Well, if that's not an option, perhaps I guess I could find some way of disposing of it or repurposing it. I'm sure just because the magic has left doesn't mean that the demon taint has. So I don't know if it would be useful in my necrotic arts. You know, there is a local hag, Madame Clementine. Perhaps you've heard of her. She might have an answer. I've dealt with her. She's quite pleasant if you get her favorite bouquets. She really is a fan of the color green.
Yes, we've discovered.
So you've met Madame Clementine. How is she doing?
Probably great.
Yeah, she seemed pretty happy.
Happy?
Relatively.
That's very...
Relatively for a witch. Or hag.
Hag is the proper term. Witch is their mortal children, I'd say.
Yeah, she seemed pretty content.
That in itself is worrisome. She used to have a blinding rage every time I spoke to her. I thought maybe it was because she was racist, but turns out that's just how she is.
Oh, there was that too, but the gifts seemed to quell that a bit.
Exactly. But
also releasing the Mummy King.
And there it is. That's been her goal for quite some time. That's very interesting. How did you all know that she released the Mummy King? Were you all just in Krago?
Yep.
And you were able to make it out of there alive?
Yep.
I don't think we were. Actually. Were we? I thought we weren't.
Wait a second.
We left right before the Mummy King was released.
That explains a lot. Because I'll tell you right now, everybody that was in Krago when he came to be is definitely dead.
What?
Dead and instantly mummified, wandering the streets of Krago, unless they've all been buried underneath the sand. But that's, I guess, for us to investigate later. That does mean that Krago may have become its own tomb. That could be a very good archaeological dig. Very exciting, but terrifying at the same time. Regardless, Madame Clementine...
It's like you handle yourself pretty well against the Mummy King.
Well, to be honest, and I do not mean to toot my own horn, but there are very few creatures that roam the material plane that I am truly afraid of. And Madame Clementine and the Mad Mummy King are not on that list. Now, that does not mean that I will go looking to pick a fight. No. But, I do not fear their power. But anyway... If she has in fact summoned the Mad Mummy King, and God knows how she did it, I don't believe that we could go to her with his statue. She will be much too busy dealing with that debacle. So, he picks up his warhammer. If you could please step aside, let us see how durable this here rock is. Unless, Babushka, you would rather do it for me.
Oh. Yeah.
Thank you. And he goes over with his warhammer and he places it onto the head of the stone. And he does a couple of practice swings. Yeah. Alright, here we go. Alright, one more. Gotta get warmed up. It's been a while since I swung this thing. Yeah! And he brings it back, and as he goes forward, the warhammer stops right in front of the statue, and you watch as you can see his muscles tightening, you can see the veins popping, and you see he's trying to force the swing to connect. There's some type of energy preventing me from hitting it. And he finally lets go and starts to breathe heavy. Wow. Well, maybe the magic's not all lost. Very interesting. Yeah. I need to sit down real quick. Wow.
You okay?
No, I'll be fine, but yeah, it was siphoned my energy. That was very interesting. Very, very weird feeling. He goes into the corner where there's like a nice sort of flat boulder. He puts his warhammer down and he sits down. You know, it's really interesting. You live for so long, and even though I do not require the needful breath, I can't help but go through the motions of wheezing after a hard labor has been imposed on my body. And that feels like an entire day's worth of work has suddenly hit me almost instantly. That statue definitely has some type of siphoning magics to it. So I would suggest for the rest of yous, possibly do not provoke it to siphon your own life from you. Yeah. It is a marvel after all. I truly do not need to breathe, but I can feel the air inflating my very dried up lungs. There's a thought for you.
What the hell?
And he closes his eyes and he starts sort of like just grunting.
And one of those old people grunts.
Yep, exactly. Yep. And it's almost as if he's in deep thought at this moment.
You gonna be okay?
Oh, who's there? Oh, well, my apologies. I must have fallen asleep.
Sleep? Interesting.
Yes, very much so. I'll be honest, it's been centuries since I've taken a nap. He stands up and something about this here rock seems to have a very opportunistic use against undead entities such as myself. So
it maybe bring you life, so to speak?
Perhaps, maybe. In theory, death magic is of the negative resource, whereas life magic is of the positive. So perhaps maybe this stone is made with the same negative energies, and when, you know, two negatives come together, they make a positive. That's one working theory, but I will definitely take this and research it myself. Yeah. Anyway, this and them books I will take. Those would be very good to have to further my research about the Cyrodiil Empire, even though this tomb was definitely erected for the Demon Lord of the Orcs, who was definitely no friend of the Cyrodiils. Let's go ahead, and now that I've been sidetracked from the book, I've forgotten everything about it. Let's go ahead and take a look into the rest of this here tomb. I'm assuming this here hole used to be where a great golden door you spoke of stood.
Yes, sir.
This is where we got that stone.
On the pedestal there. What are these two large bowls in the back for? And Trina, as you're looking, you do see two large bowls, and in the center of the bowl is this sort of I don't know exactly how to describe it, but kind of like a molded cone. A molded cone. So the bowl is all one piece, and that cone is part of it as well, made out of stone.
Okay.
Yeah, think of a bowl that also has a traffic cone in the middle of it, except for
Like
not
sticking
by
out
that.
of it?
Yeah, right in the middle of it. And it's just a cone made out of the exact same stone. It doesn't make any sense as to why there would be something in the middle of the bowl. You wouldn't be able to hold as much liquid.
Unless you're meant to put something on the cone, maybe.
Perhaps. Also, Trina, at your feet, you do see a pitcher of water. The
pick it
pitcher, and as you do touch it, you feel a surge of magical energy.
Ooh, it's magical.
Yeah,
Does it like
well,
automatically fill with water or something?
you do not know what it is that it does, but as you're looking at the pitcher, it's as you start like touching it and stuff, it's actually feels a lot different. You can see that the pitcher itself is an illusion. And then instead what you see is a decanter.
Okay.
Does the pitcher have water in it?
No. Or, I mean, does it look like? I don't think so.
Try pouring it out.
So as
Okay.
you try pouring it out, you can hear sloshing coming from inside, but no water drips out of it.
Weird. I'm gonna try pouring it out over the bowl.
Okay. So you walk over and you uncork it and you try to pour it into the bowl, but nothing comes out.
Well,
try filling it up with the orb or the sapphire.
well, it sounds like there's liquid in it. It's just maybe someone has to drink it, and that someone is not going to be me.
Hold on. You mind if I take a look at it, please?
Here.
And as he touches it, an illusion. You know, wizards that practice this sort of magic always did frustrate the hell out of me, but there is a time and place for it, and this here, if I remember correctly, and he waves his hand over it and gets rid of the illusion. This here is known as the Decanta of Endless Water. Observe. And he puts the decanter over one of the bowls. Stream. And as he does, the decanter starts to pour out a gallon of water. Or you could do fountain. And it flows out 5 gallons of water. Here's my favorite part. Stand back. I do not wish to get anyone wet. This seems to be fine over here. And he points it down past the crypts. Geyser, and you see almost like a fire hose had just exploded out of the thing, and it just starts to spray 30 gallons. He's like, hold on. And you see Lid is actually having to sort of like fight against the geyser itself, and when it finally ends, he goes, whoo-hoo, I've always wanted to take one of these out and try it. That was exhilarating. That is a lot of fun. Here you go, Trina. I think you've found this yourself, so you might as well hold on to it.
Thank you.
Yes, you know, this is weird, because I heard that King Rakim actually possessed this here magical item, the Decanter of Endless Water, which is actually kind of a byproduct of that there sapphire that Toktir had put into your bag. Very interesting.
So the sapphire helped make the decanter?
Yeah, I would say yes.
Or they're more like companions to each other?
Both.
Interesting.
Very much so.
That thing would be extremely useful given the environment we're in.
True, and especially you, since you've got a large dragon friend that no doubt is thirsty.
Yeah, hopefully he'll accept this as a good enough item to save Mal's life.
Hold on a second. I was talking about your silvery friend. Your friend Indarog's about to get the sapphire. He has no need to know about this here decanter.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Now, we did fill the bowl. Where'd the water go? And as you're looking into the bowl, the water is gone.
We only filled the one bowl up.
Yeah, I agree. We did only fill one bowl, but the bowl that we filled is now empty.
Did it drain?
Try doing it again, and let's take a listen.
Spring.
Stream, dear.
Sorry, stream.
And as the stream pours out into the bowl, it fills probably about 4 inches, and you watch as the water level slowly drops and then goes away.
That seems weird.
How about we take the sapphire and the decanter and put them over both and then use them at the same time?
Very good idea.
Okay. Accio
Someone
sapphire.
eating some chips.
Accio. Avada Kedavra.
So you end up saying the word, and it fills the bowls both up, a couple inches of water, and as the water is draining, you hear an audible click. And after that click, the wall next to you starts to rescind into the ground.
Whoa!
Interesting.
Hey, look at that. Puzzle guards.
Hold on.
If I
Wait.
stick my head in, what do I see?
You see 2 barrels, and then you see an urn on top of a treasure chest.
Okay.
Before we do anything, can you look in the bag of holding for me real quick?
For what?
Is there a 10-foot pole in there? I can't remember
No.
if I had one. Okay. I was going
Or
to
at least
suggest.
I don't have anything.
Well, I mean, I put stuff in your bag of holding earlier, I thought.
Did you? Let me look then.
While
I have a grappling hook. I've got rope. Oh, I do have a 10-foot pole. That's funny.
I just go in here and start knocking on the barrels.
Oh, I guess he figured it out for us.
Just start knocking on the barrels.
Anything in here? Hello?
What's it? Is there anything written on the urn? I'd like to inspect it.
Okay. So as you look at the urn, it has a bunch of gibberish on it.
My money's
the same
on the fact
gibberish
that it's
that
orcish.
you've correct.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cast a ritual instant once a day for the or comprehend languages.
Okay. So as
Can I
you
pick
look
up
at
the urn?
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring it out and put it on the pedestal out here.
Okay. So as you bring out the urn and put it on the pedestal, and Tolktir, as you're reading it, you're almost done reading it, Tolktir, when Trina does place it, and there seems to be another clicking sound, and an audible depression forms on that pedestal where the urn is, and you watch as it sinks into the pedestal, and you hear another wall fall down right next to the lid. Well, that was easy, huh?
Oh, Paso God! Look at you, Trina!
What did it say, Brady?
That was an
so
accident.
it said something along the lines of Rakim's ashes can be found here, but the true treasure I wrote it down somewhere. I can't find it, but the whole point was for you to bring and put it and replace the sapphire with the urn.
Okay.
Can I open the chest that's in here with
Sure.
Lightbringer?
Yeah, I do a fake trip and knock it over. Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm so sorry.
You do a fake trip to do what?
To knock over the barrel.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
As the barrel falls over, the lid pops off, and out you see rolling is this sort of crystal orb.
Oh, interesting.
Oh,
Crystal
shiny.
orb. You touch it.
You touch it.
No, you.
You're the one that found it.
And then I reach down and grab it.
And you feel a surge of magical energy.
As I grab it, I just start act like I'm like seasonal. No.
Oh shit!
Well, it's magical, but I don't know what it does.
Can I see?
Here, toss it to her.
Ooh, shiny.
Yeah, so yeah, same thing. You just see a can I just show? Hold on. If I show, if I can bring this on. Oh, it doesn't work that way.
Is there anything in the other barrel?
As you try to move the other barrel, or do you just open it?
I'll just open it.
You open it and you see a rod that's just sort of suspended in air in the middle of it.
I will reach in to grab the rod.
As you grab it and start to try to yank it out, it does not budge.
Huh. Weird.
Maybe you need a little elbow grease. Yeah, move aside.
Do you think I need to put the orb on? Like, is there something that it holds the orb on the rod?
And when you touch the rod, you feel a surge of magical energy as well.
Is there like something to hold a gem or something on the rod on the top of it?
No. From what you can tell, the ends of the rod are these sort of bowls that are carved into it. And as you're looking it over a little bit more, you see a button that's in the middle of it.
Oh, I'll hit the button. I'll see
As
what
you
that
hit the
does.
button, the rod moves, and you pull it out of the barrel.
Oh, fun. Here, Lightbringer, you can have the rod. I'll take the pretty orb.
Look right there.
Just kidding.
What is this?
I don't know. It wouldn't move until I hit that button on the side.
I press the button again.
And as you press the button and try to move it, it doesn't move. It is suspended where you are at.
You could swing on it. How cool.
You start to do pull-ups, and you're just in the middle of this tomb with this rod floating in the air, just doing pull-ups.
Huh.
Oh man, this is insane. I press the button again.
And it stops being suspended.
Wow.
What's in the treasure chest?
You really want to
Want
know?
to take a look? I'll
Yeah.
take a look.
It's
We want to know. Show us the money!
Well, you guessed it. There is money. Most notably, there are 6 gold bars. Probably each of them worth around 5,000 gold.
Nice.
There are various coins scattered about, all gold and platinum, totaling to be an extra 500 gold pieces. Or no, 5,000 gold pieces.
Whoa.
For a total of $35,000. I'm just 35,000 gold-ish in just treasure alone. But
Nice.
there's also a bunch of different gems, most of them sapphires.
Cool.
Oh, Ruby.
You guys want to put it in my bag of holding and we'll figure out how to split it up later?
Yeah.
I do take one of the bars though, and I stick my head out and I say, Lid, would you like a bar of gold?
I have no true need of monetary shiny objects. Thank you, though.
Okay.
And
Can you tell me what this orb is?
And he
And I
looks at it.
hand it to him.
And as he holds it, he casts a spell. Ah, I've heard about this here device. It's known as the Drift Globe. Watch this. Light. And as he says light, the Drift Globe illuminates.
Oh.
Well, that would be useful for me.
Yeah,
Light.
Lightbringer can have it.
And as he says, or he says,
Light,
dark, and the light goes away. Light. Boom. Okay, Google, turn off the light. I'm just joking. Immersion destroyed. And then all right, now watch this one. He puts it down on the pedestal. Light. Float. And it begins to float.
Ooh. Lightbringer, that'll be so helpful for you.
And he
Yeah.
then starts to walk away. And after, obviously he can't get 60 feet away from it, but once he gets to 60 feet away from it, the globe starts to follow him.
Wow. Oh,
That's
me
impressive.
and my blind ass. I need that. You want to trade?
I technically don't need a rod like that, so someone else in the group can have it if they need it. Maybe like Jim. He could use it to stand on it to get taller to beat people. But yeah, you can definitely have the orb, Lightbringer, because, you know, you need to help seeing in the dark, so.
Yeah, unfortunately. All right. Well, that's a pretty fancy toy. Oh yeah. Let me get your bag of holding. See if we can
Yeah,
squeeze
shall we
stuff
start
in there.
putting everything in there?
And the Decanta of Endless Water is as it's called. Like you've seen, if you say stream, it produces a gallon of water. If you say fountain, it produces 5 gallons of water. And if you say geyser, it will produce 30 gallons of water.
And could be used as a weapon.
Actually, yes, it very well could.
Interesting.
I am making all of you observers of these items so that you can see their full effects in the items tab. The Immovable Rod. I've heard about this before. Yeah, essentially wherever you place it, when you press the button, it will magically be fixed in place. And until someone else uses the button again, the rod will not move, even if it defies gravity itself. I believe it can hold a couple 1,000 pounds before it ends up inevitably falling.
Hey, you know what? This could actually be useful in torture. See, what I could do with this, I could, yeah, we're not gonna go into that.
Yeah, let's not.
And scrunch my face in disgust.
All right.
Anyway, what's down here?
Did you want to add the jewels and the coins and stuff to my bag of holding, Brady, or did you want to do that later?
You can just add into the, where is it? Where's the party loot? We can add a total of, I'll just make it easy and we'll add 500 platinum pieces and 35,000 gold pieces. And then I'll put a entry that says gold bars worth, yeah, this will be where we put it.
In my bag or somewhere else?
You know where the party inventory button is? It's on,
It's
it should
in
be on the
obtained,
left.
right?
No, there
No.
should be a button. Do you guys not see party inventory? Do you not
see
remember that button?
I
It's
see
on
it.
your left hand side. It's a button that you can press.
Oh.
Like where the
Okay.
ruler is.
Oh, that's new. Nice.
You said gold bars worth
Yeah,
6
they're worth
or 5.
Yeah, there were 5,000.
And then 500
apiece.
platinum. Okay, cool.
There's 6 of them.
Awesome.
And then 500 platinum 500 platinum pieces, which ends up being
Cool.
worth 5,000 gold. So a relatively nice haul. And then sapphires, a handful of them. You could put that you got 2,000 worth of sapphires.
Good ass cheese.
Mhm.
Gack.
Well,
2,000 gold, right?
that's what the sapphires will be worth. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm definitely gonna need some gems in the future. But
Okay.
I
To
don't
replace
have-
wait,
that
yeah, don't you
transportation shell, or not transportation.
I
The
need rubies, diamonds, and any other gems, and some ivory for various things.
Half of those, what are they called? Half of those sapphires are now rubies. So there's
sapphires and
thousands
rubies.
worth of rubies, and 1,000 worth of sapphires.
Oh, if that is the case, that helps me out immensely. Let's see.
Get the
How
diamond.
how much in rubies do you need for your teleportation spell?
Teleport doesn't need any rubies.
Oh, it doesn't.
I need for force cage, I need 1,500 ruby dust.
Oh dear, that's a lot.
And then for contingency, I need 1,500 of gems. And then for glyph of warding, I need about 200 of diamond.
Your spells are expensive.
So basically, I have to liquefy the entire inventory we just grabbed.
I mean, I don't have enough to even do one of the spells, so just to keep those
We'll
gems
save it
there if
for now.
possible. Yeah.
Alright.
But do we want to keep looking down this hallway?
Is it a hallway or is it a staircase?
It seems to be a hallway.
Interesting.
And there's something down here, Lid. I'm going to,
Would you like me to lead the way?
yeah, I'm gonna get behind you.
Oh, interesting. Interesting indeed. It's all right. This here is an alchemy lab.
Oh.
Didn't the knight say that Rakim was the best alchemist?
That would not stray far from the truth. In fact, he was so good he actually found the elixir to life, and is said to be immortal because of it. But he does not share the secrets because of the heavy burden, I believe, it takes to make such a concoction. But again, I've never met the man, so it could just be a story. In this room, you see a alchemist table. There's a bunch of very dried, essentially petrified at this point in time, herbs and such like that. Other various ingredients that you don't know what they are exactly. But based on the way that they've all shriveled up, they might have some type of use, but they're definitely not as potent as if they were fresh. In the corner is a large orange jug that is sitting there, and then there's also a couple of vials of potions that are also sitting near the wall, and they are filled.
Well, we should probably take the potions to a shop and see if someone might know what they are.
You see, it was a potions or a jug, Brady?
There's potions and
The
a jug.
jug's right here.
Yeah, the jug's right there.
I'm going to go over to said jug, and I'm going to cast a cantrip. Shape water.
Doesn't do anything.
Okay. How big is said jug?
It's a fairly sizable jug. Looks like, I don't know. You know those, have you been to the South, Jeffrey?
I might
Up to
know
the
of
point
it.
where you've seen a old woman pull out a jug of sweet tea. Do you know what I'm talking about, Kevin?
Yeah.
You
Okay,
know,
okay.
Big ass, like 2-gallon jug. Except for it's a
Yeah.
bigger jug.
Okay. I was going to see if it was big enough to put my mage hand in and scoop some water out, but I guess it's the mouth probably isn't that big.
And I mean, the jug, it's orange. It looks like it's ceramic, and it is currently corked.
Can you tell what's in these potions?
Pretty sure with any potion, you can take a tiny sip to know what the effects of it are. And if it is a tiny sip, unless it's like purple worm poison, you should be fine.
And I'm assuming the purple worm poison is purple?
Actually, it's black.
Oh, okay.
And even more interesting, juvenile purple worms is green. A little trivia for you. Next time you go to D&D trivia night. I'm just joking. That's not actually true.
What color are all these potions, Brady?
One of them is yellow. One of them is red. One of them is green.
Take a small sip of the yellow one.
It is a potion of lightning resistance.
Oh, fine.
I'm gonna take a pinky dipping of the green one.
The green one you feel akin to
worm
animals.
poison.
No. It's a potion that will allow you to cast the spell Animal Friendship for 1 hour at will.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh,
Librarian, you want to try the red one?
sure. Excuse me, pardon me. Squeeze through. And then he takes a sip of a little small sip of the red one.
And as he does, doesn't seem like anything happens. But then suddenly you burp and breathe fire.
Oh, whoa, cool.
Except for it's not normal fire, it's purple. As is tradition currently. AKA, this is a potion of fire breath.
Whoa, dude.
Cool.
This is pretty wild.
Is there any written notes on the table?
No.
Any writing on the walls or anything like that?
Nothing.
Well, I'm gonna go over to the big jug and uncork it.
As you touch it, you feel a surge of magical energy. Who put this
That's me.
contingency? What does that
Oh,
mean?
no, shouldn't be contingency. It should have been water shape or something.
Shape water?
Yeah.
Weird. It said contingency, but anyway, as you're touching it and you feel the surge, Lid takes a look over. And he casts the identify spell on it. That there is an alchemy jug, which makes a lot of sense. You can actually use a spoken word after it's uncorked, and you can pour about 2 gallons a minute of a specific liquid, ranging from beer to wine to mayonnaise.
Real nice.
Why you would want 2 gallons of mayonnaise? Well, have you ever been to the
Ooh.
South? I'm
No.
also kidding.
Okay.
Interesting. Can you do like 2 gallons of acid?
Well, yeah.
Hmm.
You can do beer, you can do honey, mayonnaise, oil, soy sauce, vinegar, fresh water, salt water, and wine. Actually, that's strange. I've heard of a different alchemy jug that could make acid. This one seems to be more of the culinary expertise.
Interesting.
What about that? Oh, never mind. They're inappropriate. Carry
Yes,
on.
let's keep that internal thought internal.
On the table, though, as you were looking, Tolktir,
Yep.
you do see a couple of jars and a tiny little bag that looks like it holds some type of dust.
I'm gonna look inside the bag with dust.
As you
wanna-
open up the bag, a little bit gets out, and it makes you start to sneeze uncontrollably for the next minute.
I close the bag.
Achoo! Oh, ha! He seems to have pulled some type of trick on you, Tolktir. That little baggie is definitely the dust of sneezing and choking.
Why would someone make this?
Well, for the very reason. I've seen people like put a little bit on things that they do not want to be touched, and when they get touched, inevitably the thief will give themselves up with a fit of coughing and sneezing, much as you are now. It's actually quite humorous as they're being taken away by the gods.
Do you think you put something in the bag to potentially protect it?
Highly doubtful. More than likely, it was just one of his favorite parlor tricks.
Mm.
Boys will be boys after all.
I tie up the baggie and put it in my pocket.
Can I have the cork Tolked here? I'm gonna put the jug in my bag of holding.
Here's the cork back.
Thank you.
So
I'll put that
as
potion of fire breathing in my bag.
okay, I have made all of those viewable. So the dust of sneezing and choking, it looks like the dust of disappearance, but it's not. When you use an action to throw a handful of the dust in the air, You and each creature that needs to breathe within 30 feet must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or become unable to breathe while sneezing uncontrollably. A creature affected by this is incapacitated and suffocating, and as long as it's conscious, a creature can repeat the saving throw to end it. Lesser restoration will end the effect on a creature.
Ooh, that will be perfect for a getaway if we have to go back to the Thurian Empire.
And suffocation rules, I'm pretty sure when you do begin suffocating, you have a number of rounds up to your Constitution modifier before you die.
Oh.
I could be wrong on the dying part unless you're not able to breathe afterwards. But because this says unable to breathe.
Yeah, that shit is lethal.
Yeah.
That shit is very lethal. Oh god. Never mind, we shouldn't use that for a getaway.
Or of a distraction.
We shouldn't use that as a distraction unless we're actually trying to kill somebody.
I think the dust of disappearance might actually show us how long it takes. Oh, you roll a 2d4. That's how long it lasts. So yeah, you could kill somebody with that pretty easily if they fail the saving throw.
Oh, fun.
Making that
Death by sneezing.
that Looney Tunes call. Going crazy.
So the other jar that you see, Tolktir, you said you picked it up as well?
Yeah.
And
What I see.
as you open it, it looks like a thick green mixture that smells like aloe. Lid cast Identify on it as well. Actually, I think one cast of Identify will do... No, you gotta do it on each item, yeah. It is Higa Tom's Ointment. I don't know how to say that word, but it contains 5 doses. I rolled really high of that thick mixture. As an action, a dose of ointment can be swallowed or applied to the skin, and the creature that does so regains 2d8 plus 2 hit points, ceases to be poisoned, and is cured of any disease.
Wow.
But you've only got 5 uses.
I will
item description.
I'll put that in my pocket.
And all of those items should be viewable in the items tab. I put the dust and the ointment as well as the potions in a potions tab. I have the new items that you guys just obtained outside so that you can look at them. I'll put them in the obtained folder at the end of session. Very, very nice. Maybe this tomb actually was Rakim's at some point in time. Or maybe this is where he sought solitude in order to do some of his experimentations to finally lock Sigorius away. But it doesn't truly make sense as to why he would put some of his treasures from being an adventurer in a tomb with a demon sealed within. Unless, perhaps maybe this is all part of the ruse. Perhaps maybe someone stole these items from Rakim and made this part of the tomb look as such, to make us truly think that he had nothing to do with it. Or had something to do with it.
Before, back in this room, was that his ashes?
It would appear so.
I mean, that's what the urn said, but there's no way of actually knowing now that they're gone.
Can you do anything with those, Lid?
Well, if they truly are his ashes, I'm sure I could do, well, regardless of who ashes they are, they could be used in resurrection spells for whoever's ashes they belong to.
Can you do that?
not at this very particular time. And when I say I can't, I more than won't do it.
Okay. I meant more along the lines of, for your knowledge. Like, I don't really need to talk to.
Oh, in time? Yes, certainly.
What was that?
It sounds like another wall has fallen.
It looks like we are trapped in here. No? Yes? No?
Oh, seems all right out here.
Oh, another wall, you say? What's this? Is it?
Ah, yes. One final tomb, it looks like. But why has it revealed itself now?
One thing, Brady. When we were walking in the room where we had the pedestal and the water jug, water basins, was there the dead body of of Abel in there, or no?
No, actually, that's about to happen now.
Ah, I see.
But as you pop in, our outside, and you look into the tomb, you hear a whooshing of air, and then as you look, those 4 sarcophagi, you see that each of them is now holding a candle, and has been lit, and you see this sort of shadowy fog start to compose itself into the form of Abel. You all have done well to come back, I guess. I thought I was going to trap the resurrectors of Sogorius, my master, but I have been told to help you instead. So, I apologize for my actions.
By whom?
By my lord Sogorius.
You
dear.
don't serve Rakim?
I used to serve Rakim, but he killed me.
Ah.
And my soul
What happened?
was, I guess you could say, saved, captured by Sogorius. And I was given a second chance. A chance to get my revenge on the good old king of Cyrodiil Empire. The man I served for his entire life, only to be betrayed, stabbed in the belly, for seeing him for what he truly is.
Sounds familiar.
Regardless, that tomb houses a staff. Could be very useful for you. I don't remember Rakim ever wielding it, but he perhaps maybe at one point did. I'm assuming Tolktir opens the sarcophagi.
Upon hearing staff, yeah.
And inside you see a let's see, can I show, how do I show this picture?
A beholder pops out of the tomb.
Yo.
I'll put that.
Did that pop up?
Oh.
Yep.
You'll eventually find out that it is the staff of swarming insects.
Ho ho ho.
Oh.
I take hold of staff.
Yeah, so it's this sort of, oh, here it is. Can you see the image?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Beetly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you see the staff that has sort of scarabs, jeweled scarabs, all up and down its shaft. That staff was taken from somebody that was also killed by King Rakim, and it was placed here. This tomb was created to house King Rakim's corpse, but that unfortunately never happened. And instead, he thought it would be a good idea to bind the demon lord of the Orcs here. But what he didn't know was that there were interested parties that would rather see Sigorius unbound than to see Rakim walking for eternity. So I hope that you use all of these items well in the service of our Lord Sigorius. He sees a lot of potential in all of you, and these are only the beginning of his gifts.
Well, that's pretty fancy, actually. New toys. Pretty cool. And like Lightbringer's like holding that orb.
Certainly useful gifts.
And Abel takes off his helmet and looks at all of you. Should you choose to take these gifts and betray our Lord, I will not take mercy on you the next time we meet. You have passed Sigorius's first test. Congratulations. You should be hearing from him very soon. And as he says that, you watch as he starts to dissipate into the black fog. Much like Sigorius did, except for he dissipates in that area instead of staying in sort of like a cloud and floating away. That there entity definitely believes you all are members of his group, I guess, now. You all did essentially bind yourselves to Sigorius, whether you liked it or not, I believe, but once you subjugated yourself to his will, at least the four of you, it looks like you have gained some allies.
Yeah, but he made it clear we also gained some enemies.
Exactly.
Well, that is gonna happen anytime you pick a side, for better or for worse. But what troubles me so is hearing this story about Rakim stabbing him in the belly. Because the Rakim that I've read about is a very compassionate fella, one that did not like to kill if he did not need to. In fact, I don't believe he ever killed.
Hey, question, Lid. Was Sigorius ever known for shape-shifting of some kind?
Well, most demon lords are capable of such very minor spells, yes.
What if he disguised himself and stabbed him in the belly?
And there it is. More than likely, that is exactly all it took for some barbaric folk like Abel, and he looks over to Jimothy. No offense. Anyone with a temper would fall short of an illusion as such, especially one cultivated by a demon lord. Which means that the trickery continues.
Oh, it gets saucy from here.
It sure does.
I am looking forward to seeing who's going to size us up once we settle down in a town or in the woods somewhere.
Well, I will go ahead and let you know that I do not wish to partake in any sort of battle against you all.
Yeah. This is, I foresee things getting annoying in the future. As Lightbringer is still, like, twiddling with the orb.
Well, sure. Yes, I would guarantee that if someone is able to somehow put a finger on the fact that you all do serve a demon lord, there aren't many people that take kindly to such acts, especially mortal types, being that mortal souls are kind of the fuel for demons anyway.
Well, it's a good thing I'm good at not using my magic in public.
Ah, yes. Funny story, I heard of a gentleman one time. He was in the Thurian Empire. He thought it would be beneficial for him to use such a measly cantrip as mending on a table after one of his cohorts had stabbed it in the... Well, the people didn't take too kindly of it after all, even though it was a kind gesture, and sold him out. And then I think he died. I think he was cut
He
in half.
definitely died.
I'm also
you heard about that?
Lid didn't hear about that. Yeah.
Oh man. Oh yeah, I read it. Read it all in Thorpe's journal.
What an idiot!
Think his name was stupid like Lloyd. I'm just joking.
Something stupid like.
I'm just joking.
Oh man.
Well, the rest of this crypt seems to be blocked off by immense piles of rubble. I'll get my soldiers to start uncluttering this tomb as I start to do more research.
I wonder what's in the back tomb where the flying ball of Sigorius was trapped. But it's blocked by a bunch of rubble, and I can't get to it.
Well, once I get back there, I'll be sure to let you know once I come in contact with you again.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I should be here studying all this stuff for the next few weeks at least. More than likely be here for a couple months. So if you ever need anything deciphered, any ancient text, or if you do find anything of the like, you could drop on by. I'll take a gander, and then I could reward you for your efforts, of course. You see, I don't know if you all remember, as our last conversation was quite short, but I'm trying to cultivate as many ancient relics of the past in order to start up some type of a museum.
Ooh. If we end up finding anything, obviously I can get in contact with you.
True, and just so you're aware that that connection will have to be refreshed after a few weeks' time.
Oh, alright.
So more than likely, and you'll feel it fading, and when you do, just call out to me and I can help pick a spot for meeting. More than likely, though, the first refreshment, you could just come on back to this here tomb. I do anticipate spending a lot of time, especially with all the misconceptions and misinformation that we've been given and uncovered about Rakim, the Zeradel Empire, Sigorius, this whole situation. It's a very strange bunch of incidences that could be coincidence, but I do not believe that to be the case.
Hard to believe.
A story of betrayal. Ooh, I should write a book on that.
Yes. It could be a New York Times bestseller.
What's a New York?
What's the New York Times?
What's a New York?
Ask
New what now?
Jimothy would know. He's from Marston, not too far from York New.
Oh.
York New.
I'm also
so
there's no such place as York New.
Alright, let me count on my fingers. Alright, so Apocalypse starting a bunch of different factions and deities coming out of the woodworks to flex their muscles. Man, what else we have coming? We got an empire that's enforcing magical law.
The Mad Mummy King.
Mad Mummy King, yep. Oh, yep. Demon lords.
Yep, the
trying
Prince
to
of
start
Demons.
hurting.
Yup.
Oh man, it's about to get. Oh, and most of this is our fault. Ooh, Lechen. Oh, I wonder if that thing will end up traveling in these lands.
A Leshen, you say?
Lechen, yes, I did.
And where all did you see that?
An island, Dinosaur Island.
Yeah, Monster Island, whatever.
It's off the coast a ways.
Hold on a moment. You're talking about the creature that the druids of that land had suppressed into an eternal dream?
Yes.
And you all are the ones that let it out?
Nope,
I mean-
not I.
I wouldn't say that we were, more like
But you were a party to the release
We were.
of the
It was
Leshen.
definitely inadvertent, but yes. the
That
lesson
seems
is
to
true.
happen a lot for you poor folks. Perhaps maybe bad luck just follows you everywhere
I'm
you
beginning
go.
to think that.
I'm beginning to think that as well.
Well,
Yeah,
perhaps maybe
especially-
there's what's the word? Malevolent being that overwatches you.
I don't know.
Some
his
beautiful
name starts with the B. It's coming to.
It rhymes with Beatty.
I'm coming to a conclusion that Durgam is now the unofficial narrator of the story.
Yeah, he might be.
He's unreliable.
Now you
Use
all.
knowledge.
I'm just joking. You all, even though these misfortunes keep following you, obviously, if the gods are playing tricks on you or something of the sort, they expect you to have the capabilities of quashing all these travesties.
I just think they like watching us suffer.
And, you know, that could be it as well. I know the gods exist, but I do not worship, because the gods allowed my entire race to become extinct, knowing our steady decline. But they did not prevent those that were hunting us from devouring the flesh of my kin. And so, that being said, the gods, they are powerful, but they are unfortunately powerless in the time of need.
That was deep.
Yes, which is why you have to make your own power, such as I have.
So, if I ever wanted
Yeah, I've
to,
been questioning my life a lot recently, so.
so if I wanted to, learn how to extract the souls of people, would that be possible?
I'm sure it would be. It takes many decades of practice and research and cultivation of your techniques. But if you put in the time, especially because, well, I don't know, before you died and sold your soul to the devil, did you have any aptitude for magic already?
Besides the heat in my system from me being the kind of Goliath that I am, no.
I'm sure there's still hope for you, but it is more than unlikely in your lifetime to happen, unfortunately.
Unfortunate. I wanted to name myself, something catchy like Shang Tsung and become a powerful sorcerer that extract souls, keep myself young. That'll be an epic turnout for my story.
And I mean, there is always hope. You could take the right teacher, after all. There's no telling. I have seen hard work pay off in the end for those that are truly dedicated. But you also have a lot of other things that you need to focus on before I would even suggest teaching you myself.
True.
Oh, on that note, Lid, you know, magic. I dabble in it myself. I was wondering if you had any scrolls you're willing to part with.
I don't have any scrolls on me, and typically I don't even make them. But I could keep my eye out. I have noticed that some of these tombs do house them.
I would ask, you know, do I see a spell book on him by chance?
Nope.
I would ask to maybe peruse a spell book that you would have on your person if you're willing to part with that information, but usually that's a very touchy subject.
Well, if I needed a spell book, sure, but I don't. My magic is not the same as that of a wizard's, but nor is it the same as that of a sorcerer. It's different, and it would be too long of an explanation, and we have too much work that needs to be done. But do keep a note of that, Toktir, that I do owe you an explanation, and I will be good on my word.
Well, I'll keep my eye out. Arlene, I should, I'll patiently wait. How about that?
That sounds excellent. Well, I'm going to gather some of these bookings and things real quick and head on back out to go ahead and insurrect my army again and start getting to digging. If you all are still outside by the time I get there, I'll see you off. Otherwise, do travel safely. Be careful.
You too, Lid.
Because now that you've got that stench of Sigorius on you, well, it's just made you a more valuable target to certain entities.
Awesome.
Ooh, fun.
Correct.
Alrighty, Lid. I will see if I can find you when that feeling starts fading.
Very well. I'll see you all out the entrance if you're still there. And if not, then good luck to you. And we'll see each other sometime soon, I imagine.
It was a pleasure getting to spend the day with you, Lid.
Well, likewise, Miss Trina.
Goodbye.
Before we head out of this place, I want to go to Trina, and so need to ask a question about that large sapphire and Nindarog. When you present it to him, whenever we track him down or he tracks us down, I have a feeling he's going to track us down first. Do you want to have that not in the bag of holding? Because isn't there a chance he just asked for the whole entire bag from you?
Yeah. But I just want to keep it safe in there for now until we get close.
Okay, so if we see him, just pull it up. Okay.
Yeah.
Making sure, just want to throw that by you because I have a feeling he.
No, there's too much in my bag that we can't lose.
Yeah. Yeah, if he doesn't know about that, the better.
Excellent work, Jeffrey.
Just run that by you. That's all.
You figured it out.
Is,
of course, Nindarog's
starts,
coming to
patting
grab
his
it
bag
himself.
and
That's so funny. Right when I put the token on the thing, he says it. That's hilarious.
Well, where do we go from here?
I'm assuming you guys leave, right?
say.
Yep.
Get music going. Good song.
The problem is I don't know what Nindarog would consider a good payment for Mal's life.
There's definitely not howling monkeys.
Hey, that was gonna be a terrible joke.
You go ahead and say it.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's an
Hey. Oh, off stream. I got you.
That's
I got you.
If we have to, are you guys willing to part with the staff of the bugs that we just got?
Hell no.
That's what
That's good.
That was
That's
a
my
birthday present.
Yeah, that's my birthday gift.
Oh, that was your birthday
Yeah.
present. Got it.
Which, Erica, you still haven't gotten back to me, so, like, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, take your time. It'll pop up eventually. Joe just got his after, like, 5 months of waiting. Because he was supposed to get it at Gamdaral, but you guys teleported away from there, so I had to change it. That was really funny. Anyway, as you guys start to exit the tomb, and you get to where you can feel the hot air, you walk outside, and you start looking around, and the sandstorm has definitely picked up. It's a lot rougher, and you can barely see maybe 20 feet in front of you.
Do we get our dragon friend and wait it out in a hut? Discuss what we're gonna do next.
I can barely see 20 feet in front of me.
Tolter, you want to cast mini hut, and I'll go grab.
Yeah, you go find him.
Dragon man.
Yep.
Okay.
Start to cast the tiny of the huts.
Okay. So in the middle of your casting, Trina, as you're going out looking for Durgam, it's really hard to get turned around in this sandstorm. You notice that as you look back, your footprints are almost instantly covered up with the blowing of the wind. Roll me a perception check at disadvantage. Oh, wow. Given as such, you can still faintly see the mountainside, and given the trajectory of the sun and the moon, you know that the spot that you're at is roughly where Durgam had covered himself up in sand. But he is not there. So as you start to look around, what else do you do, if anything?
Can I see anything about, like, if there was, like, a fight, like a scuffle, or was there anything that makes it look like he was in distress when he was, like, maybe taken, possibly?
Not that you can see. As the sand, like, even the large spot where he would have been, it still seems like a mound, but when you start to sort of dig it up, it just seems to be because of the way the sandstorm is going currently. That's what happened.
I'm gonna start yelling his name. Can I hear anything besides the sandstorm?
You shout, Durgam! Durgam! And you just hear the blowing of the wind.
That's unfortunate. I am gonna keep looking a little more, like around the area, and keep calling for him.
Did you hear that?
Mm-mm.
No?
No. Oh,
Do you
fuck.
hear? Okay, you
Yeah,
heard
I
it
heard
that time?
I hear that.
Okay. So as you're looking around shouting his name, you hear that from right up above you. And as you look up, you're able to scurry out of the way just in time before Durgum comes crashing down with Nindarog on top of him.
Holy shit.
And as Nindarog pins him to the ground, he starts to essentially drag him through the sand right as Tolktir finishes his tiny hut. He slams Durgum into the side of the cliff, flies away probably about 20 feet, and he unleashes his lightning breath on Durgum.
I yell, Trina, if you can hear me, get back in here.
To help him.
Oh, dealing a substantial amount of lightning damage to our friend Durgum. So you guys...
I don't have a reference of how far away we are from everybody.
You guys are all in the tiny hut, and you're within 30 feet of this whole thing happening. As Nindarog throws Durgum into the side, you watch as he uses his wings to sort of fly back a bit, and then you watch as his lightning breath just explodes, and Durgum screams in pain. And as that happens, you hunting in my lands. And Durgum is obviously injured, and he tries shouting back at Nindarog. But he's unable to before Nindarog jumps up and grabs him by the face and slams it into the ground, and keeps repeatedly slamming his face into the sandy mountain. And as he does, he ends up finishing with Durgum bloodied, he's lost a couple scales, his wing is ripped in a place, and Nindarog is just standing over him while Durgum is cowering. Let this be a lesson to you, Silver Dragon. Your place is in the north, not in my desert.
Nindarog, please stop.
Oh. It seems that you all had survived the little collapse of this here tomb, and somehow reopened it at the same time. And as he says that, he's looking at you. He turns around and backslaps Durgum with his tail, and he snarls. And
While
Durgum...
he's turned away, I'm gonna pull out the blue sapphire from my bag.
Okay.
We got what we wanted.
And in Darog's ears, you can see the little frilly ears that he's got. They sort of perk up, and he loses sight of Durgum and turns back around. Ah, very good. Very good indeed. And he holds out his hand. Bring it to me.
Please, Durgum's our friend. We didn't know.
Oh, I know. He was the stench that I could smell on you when you came to visit.
Yes.
And I have smelt him in my hunting grounds.
We didn't know where your hunting grounds were. We're sorry. We tried to help keep Durgum fed, but please just don't kill him.
Oh, I do not want to kill him. But I do want to show him that he is weak. He hasn't even tried to fight back.
Yeah, he knows that. He's a pacifist dragon. He doesn't hurt people.
He's weak. And he deserves to die. He gives dragons a bad name.
He
but
doesn't, though.
You have done me a great service bringing me this sapphire.
She
So
like
I will
gently
allow him to leave.
gives it to him.
But, and he turns around and he charges Durgum, and Durgum is limping away, trying to get away, and he jabs the huge horn that he's got in Durgum's backside, and Durgum screams in pain. I'm not gonna bust y'all's eardrums. Maybe I've got a sound that I can use for it that'll work. Something like that. But anyway, he screams, and as Nindarog's got his horn, he continues to push it, and he's sort of twisting it, and Durgum is squealing, and he ends up falling, and he starts gushing blood. But you watch Durgum use his ice breath to close the wounds. And Nindarog starts to wipe his horn in the sand. Let that be a lesson to you, whelp. Come around this desert. There we go. That works. Kind of. But
That's
Nindarog.
the xenomorph sound.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Nindarog comes back over while Durgum is scurrying away. And eventually, Durgum is close enough to that cave entrance that he polymorphs himself into his normal, or into his human, or elven form, and he runs into the cave. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. And Nindarog starts to walk towards the tomb entrance. But I've got something that can still reach. And you watch as his lightning breath starts to pour out of his mouth. He opens up wide and shoots down the tomb, and you can hear, "Ah!" What a fool. To think that he could come into my desert and try to lay claim. I wish I could kill him, but he's too deep. But I could wait it out. It's been so long.
He's not here to take over your land.
And his you see his frills start to perk again. You interrupt the great Nindarog?
No, it's just, I wish to explain so that you have a full understanding.
A full understanding?
Yes.
Are you saying Nindarog is stupid?
No. I'm saying that you...
Because if Nindarog needed explaining, it means that he did not understand. But Nindarog...
No, you've been misinformed.
Misinformed?
And so it's on other people.
Are you saying somebody is trying to lie to Nindarog?
No, you weren't given the full story.
Well,
So
hand
it's
me the
definitely not your
sapphire and
fault.
let us have a chat. And he holds his hand out again for the sapphire. Bring
give it to him.
me. And as you do, and the sapphire, you have to use 2 hands to hold it because it's so large, and it's barely as big as his nail. And as he brings it up and he looks at it, the brooch that he wears around his neck, he fits the sapphire perfectly in the middle, and you watch as it sort of illuminates with this blue luster and starts to faintly glow. Ah, yes. Now the storm truly becomes my own. And as he says that, the sandstorm starts to cease. And as it begins to quell, it turns into rain. And eventually it turns into a thunderstorm. And as it starts to rain, everybody except for Trina is inside of the huts. And Trina, you start to get soaked.
Okay.
Trying to find my rain sound, but I can't. Oh, I have a... Yo, I've got a search bar now when they add that. Oh my god. This thing just keeps getting better and better. I have acid rain, rain, and thunder. Sounds good. Oh, it won't play. There it goes. So it starts to turn into a torrential downpour, and then Darog starts to laugh. Now my power has grown tenfold. I thank you for your service.
Of course.
What is that stench? What is that? And he starts to look around frantically. What is... It's familiar. It's... No. He starts to sniff you, Trina. You reek of him. You reek of the abyss.
He was in the tomb.
He?
I think you know who.
No. No, he couldn't be. He was eternally bound.
There was no way to avoid release, essentially.
You released Sigorius?
Definitely 100% against my will.
You will see his mouth starting to crack with lightning. You brought the demon prince back to the material plane?
It was the only way to get your sapphire.
My dear, do you understand what it is you've done?
I'm starting to.
You have done well.
What?
I believe that this is Nindarog's time indeed. Not only do I have the sapphire of the desert, not only have I become the scourge of the desert and the storm of the desert, but now Nindarog will destroy the demon prince. Nindarog will become the demon prince.
Okay.
Yes. I didn't think that you all would go down there and be able to release him. I had heard that Rakim sealed him forever, but it would seem that mortals still are weak. Too weak for that of a demon lord. Definitely too weak for a dragon.
Most definitely too weak for a dragon.
Ah, so you have learned. You learned that lesson rather quick, my dear.
It was a pretty easy lesson to learn.
He turns around and looks at the tiny hut. Are you all learned of the same lessons that Trina has? And as he says that, he smacks his tail against the rock. And Babushka, you swear you see the tiny hut move a little bit.
Nindarog the Mighty?
That has a good ring to it.
Yes. I am hoping that perhaps the release of Sigorius might count as my payment for releasing Mal.
It will count as a payment that you do owe me. But unfortunately, seeing that you reek of Sigorius, that means that you have become his chosen, has it not?
Again, I didn't really have much of a choice.
And, my dear, guess who else didn't have much of a choice? Mal is my chosen.
What?
And in this next demon incursion, I will be a full-fledged participant. And Mal will fight in my name. And this is the best part. He's doing it all for you. To think that the one thing he wishes to protect, the one thing that he wants in his immortal life, he's about to have to betray. That should teach both of you a lesson, and I hope you learn well the consequences of each of your actions. And then Darog, he looks at you and he can't really perceive what you're feeling, mainly because of the rain. So the rain starts to light up. And as it becomes just a light drizzle, yet again, what is Trina currently doing?
She's like leaking the black smoke of Sigorius.
And there it is, the sign that I needed to see. You truly are Sigorius' chosen. Sigorius is your patron in this next demon incursion. So, let me give you a bit of advice. I would either be defeated before you meet Mal, or make sure Mal is defeated before you meet him yourself. Because when it comes to the battle for the title of Demon Prince, you will be slain, whether you like it or not. Mal understands what is at stake, and I hope, Trina, that you can see it too. Once again, very good job bringing me the sapphire. I have no doubt, I have no ill will towards you anymore. I understand that you also were misinformed when you had visited me earlier, and did not understand exactly who it was you were talking to. But now, hopefully, Durgum can be the symbol that you look upon as you see his scars start to form of what it is that I truly am capable of. And you will get to see Mal very soon. Perhaps sooner than you would like. And I hope you're ready to embrace him again, because it may be the last time you get to. I cannot force you all to do anything else for me. You are hereby released of my servitude, or from being my servants, as you now belong to Sigorius, and I can't wait for your bodies to come back, to be feasted upon. You watch as he starts to walk away, and he starts to circle the tiny hut. How many more of you in there are also bound to Sigorius? All of you?
Not I.
Only one of you chose to not serve. Very interesting. Take heed, dwarf. You would be wise to get far away from this group as humanly possible, or as dwarvenly possible. They will bring you nothing but pain and anguish for the months to come. And, more than likely, an untimely death awaits you. Awaits all of you. Yes, it would seem that I need to gather more chosen, as the games are about to begin finally. And as he starts to circle the hut, you watch as the lightning starts to crackle from his mouth. And as he's about to unleash another breath of lightning, hold up one moment. And then Darog turns, and Trina, you're the only one that's able to see his facial expression when Lid comes out of the tomb, because the rest of them, the rest of the party, are in the tiny hut behind Ndarog. And he's got a slight bit of fear in his eyes as he looks upon Lid. And Lid begins walking forward. Now, I happen to be in the area and I couldn't help but hear that you had plotted this whole debacle of releasing Sigorius in order to start the next demon incursion so that you could take the title of Demon Prince. Is that right? And then Darog, he steps back just a tiny bit, but enough for you to notice and realize that Darog, for whatever reason, is fearful of Lid. Now, I don't wish to get in the way of everything, but these folks here, they have done me a great service, and I need to ensure that they all do make it past whatever trials and tribulations are to befall them, none short of yourself, Nindarog. So, if you wish to make good on our deal, you should go on back and start plotting your next course of action. These folks are hereby protected by me. And then Darrow goes, No, it can't be that. Oh, but it certainly can be. You can send your lackeys to do whatever you wish, 'cause they will not stand a chance against this rambunctious group. But if you so much as lay a finger on them or their pal, Durgam, the silver dragon who you've almost killed, then you will be answering to me. And then Darog flashes an angry glare at you, Trina, and you see the sparks leaving his nostrils as he snorts. Just wait, Trina. Soon your shortfalls will be your folly. You will answer for the transgressions you brought upon me in my enclave. And I will do everything in my power to make sure that Mao lands the final blow to show you just how much he truly loves you. And then he casts a glance back at the tiny hut, and he snorts sparks at it, and then he begins to he takes off and flies away. And as he flies away, the further he gets, the more the sandstorm starts to pick up and the rain depletes.
Lightbringer walks
And
out
while
the
you
tiny
guys
hut.
talk real quick, I'm gonna let the dogs out.
Lightbringer's gonna walk out the tiny hut and walk towards Trina.
She's just
You all
like,
right?
looks really despondent on her knees, just like, fuck.
I'm gonna run out in the tiny hut and say, I'm gonna go check on Durgam, and I'm gonna run towards the cave.
Lightbringer gets on one knee. So it's really gotten that real, huh?
I guess it has.
Well, sheep.
Well, ain't that something?
It's a load of shit, is what it is.
Load of it. Huge boatload. Dragon
Well,
size pile of shit.
I'm glad that all we gave him was the sapphire.
That seems to
Nothing
be all he
else.
needed. The fact that he's able to conjure up a storm at will is...
I mean, it doesn't sound like it's new. It just sounds like he used to be able to do it and he couldn't, and then now he can again, so.
Like he got a jump start.
Yeah.
So
I was
now-
thinking of giving him that rod, maybe, but I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, he doesn't need any more power than he already has. Especially since he strategically planned a release.
I never thought Mal would choose to serve someone else. I thought I was at least safe in that decision.
Well, love can make someone do very foolish things,
I
unfortunately.
guess. I don't even know what to trust anymore. Like, Did he know what the goddesses were doing to me? Should I even still love him? I don't know. I'm just so confused, Lightbringer.
Honestly, since you have many different lives, I think the best decision for you would be to carve your own path.
Yeah.
You're on your way to doing that now. Though, it's
By
fun.
serving a demon lord? I mean, that doesn't sound great.
It's a start.
I guess.
Either way, even if we would have decided not to serve him, we would have been still attacked by challengers regardless, because of that stench.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Nandarog would have still hated us regardless, because of said stench.
I feel like every dragon we meet just ends up hating us.
Well, that's just every higher powered being in general. Except Lid, of course.
Thank you. I'm just joking. Lid's also checking on Durgam.
How
we
bad
really
is
need
it,
to
Brady?
thank Lid.
Oh, it's bad. He's definitely within let me look. On a scale of 1 to 487, he's a 25.
Holy shit.
Here, come on. Rhea, check on Durgam. I offer a hand.
And I shall take it.
So, Tolktir, as you get in there, Lid is already got his green magic coming from, or emanating from his hand over Durgam's body. And you can watch as it's kind of working and sealing up some of the heavy wounds that Durgam has suffered. Obviously, in his dragon form, they're much more severe and substantial in size. And on Durgam's elven form, it almost looks as if this body was just mangled by an owlbear. But of course it was a dragon instead, so chewed up and spit out, pretty much. And as Lid is tending to him, Durgam looks up. He sees you come. Perhaps, maybe now, you'll take me seriously. I told you he would. I told you he would. And he faints from the pain. This is mighty severe. I don't think I've ever seen a dragon capable of such utter destruction upon another. And
Well,
why?
then Darren's an asshat.
That we can be agreeable on, that's for sure. But why Durgam didn't even try to fight back, that one I'll never understand. Durgam should at least somewhat match his power. It be able to overpower him, but something's got the fright in the boy.
Yeah, he's not a typical dragon.
He's
Well,
definitely
that-
more brains than brawn.
So, Lid, may I ask, how old are you?
From since I became undead or since before?
Before.
I believe I'm older than Nenderog by a substantial portion. I must have been at least 1,000, if not 2, before he was even an egg.
So you were around before the last demon incursion, then?
Correct. I was actually palling around a place called the City of Guilds while it was happening.
I've never heard of that, but all right.
Well, Lid, I deeply appreciate you helping us.
Well, it's been my pleasure. You see, there's something to be gained by making friends with those that do not live as long of a life as me. It's like a spark of some sorts, a need to figure stuff out before your time ultimately comes that I just do not have the need for, being that I probably will never cease to exist unless the powers that be make it their will to do so themselves.
Well, that's good to know. Like you like that you like to keep allies. Back on the subject of how old you are. The reason I bring it up is because our dragon friend there, Durgam, says he's from before the last human incursion.
Interesting. But yet he's here? He must be 2,000 years old then, which doesn't really resemble how young he looks in his dragon form.
I think he was plucked from that time and put here.
Plucked, you say? If you could expand on the terminology, what do you mean?
The wish brought him here.
There was a genie, and then Jim wished for a companion in the form of a dragon.
And he probably wished for some type of no strings attached, which always incurs strings attached. Especially when talking to a genie. Which element genie did you talk to?
The fiery type.
That is the worst type to ever get a wish from.
Yes.
Granted, you do have a very powerful companion, but as I had just witnessed, he is unable to even use that power because he is so frightful of the world around him.
Yes.
Yep.
Do you know?
I gotta let the dogs in real quick. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm gonna open up Durgam's mouth and I'm gonna put 2 of the sensu beans in it.
I'm gonna go ahead and prep for a spell. Purpley fire forming around my hands. We really need to get him to learn how to fight. God.
Or should we just release him? Because I have a feeling we're just gonna get him killed.
Well,
she hit him with
Brady.
beans.
Yeah, sensu
Those
bean,
2
right?
rolls that healed Durgam a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm gonna prep for a level 4. Level 4.
Now, honestly, you can't blame yourselves for putting him in this situation fully. Your wish was justified. If anything, perhaps maybe you thought that the wish would create a dragon companion instead of pluck one. Oh, that was a neat animation. 22 coming at him. Instead of plucking one from a completely different time.
Yeah, we honestly didn't know it was gonna happen when we made that wish.
And you never can. Wishing is very iffy. I prefer not to take chances with the mood of a creature if I can help it myself. Much like, what's her name? You got a deck of cards. A witch. I forget who she calls mom, but,
The bitch.
well, I guess you could call them that if they've somehow short-sighted you, but she's got a deck of cards that she has you draw from.
Yeah,
Calls
we
it the
ran
deck
into
of
her too.
everything. Now, I would never in my life ever draw a card. Even if I knew for a fact that it was going to bring me nothing but goodies.
Now I drew a card to get a companion, and that companion is God's nowhere.
So, Lynn, can I ask you a few more questions?
Sure, we've got plenty of time before your friend here is stable enough for me to let him go.
What can heal a dragon faster?
Time and patience, I guess. Your beans and your healing magics, I mean, are very helpful, but they're mere band-aids, if anything, to the severity of these wounds.
Okay.
Give him a few days and he should be back to probably able to fly. And given it that he is a silver dragon, if you can find him a nice ice bath, probably the size of a lake, let him just bathe for a few days, he'll be fine.
Ooh,
A
we could probably help with that.
few more questions. Do you know what led to the Dwarven people's downfall?
Not exactly, but it must have been something to do with everyone's downfall during the Ruination. You have heard the stories, have you not? I don't know exactly what they teach children of any of the races, honestly. I have not, gone to see the education system of the various empires around.
Elucidate us, if you would. Assume we know nothing.
All right. The Ruination was a cultivation of events that led to the downfall of the entire civilization of the world. And it also led to the brand new creation of the very continent that we here stand upon. You see, this desert actually used to be part of the Cyrodiil Empire, which is why a tomb such as King Rakim's still stands. Imagine, if you will, an immense amount of power gathered around the center of all 4 continents. And when that power ceases to exist within an instant from a banishment, all of that power has to be filled by something. And it caused a sort of vacuum which caused all of the continents to crash together and eventually form this new home that we have, or this new place that we call home, with that big old mountain in the center being the very center. Now, because of that, and because of the way Dwarven society works, a lot of it happens to be underground. Is that still correct?
Yes, the remaining portions,
Well,
yeah.
imagine all of that being shifted out of its place, being torn. That's probably a big portion of it. But also the Dwarven Empire, the vast majority of it, from what I remember hearing during the last demon incursion, was thought to be eradicated.
Well,
It simply wasn't true. They had just locked themselves up in their deepest hovels and deepest underground kingdoms, but they didn't resurface until it was too late.
over half of what I've known, my history, my understanding that over half of them died back then, and I can't quite get a solid explanation on. It's sort of like a taboo to speak about.
That makes sense. It's probably because the very Dwarven way of life is also the very reason why there ceases to be so many of them.
Do you know if it was the demon lords that caused it exactly?
Yeah, well, the Ruination itself was caused by an elven wizard.
And who would that be?
Perhaps you've heard the name Nagex.
In passing, yes.
Well, she was very powerful. She was definitely towards the top of my list of folks that I would not wish to battle in any way, shape, or form. But at the pinnacle of her power, right when she was about to be on the verge of taking over the entire world, everybody was able to come together in a grand understanding that she needed to be stopped. And with the very power of the gods themselves, they were able to seal her away. On where? I'm not exactly sure. I have not tried to find that a very answer. But after doing so, it did lead to the events known as the Ruination, which not only wiped out many of the Dwarven peoples, but it wiped out many of all the peoples. Imagine all of that massive land just coming surging very quickly at inhumane speeds for that type of collision. It almost, the power of it is, I'm surprised that the world itself didn't just implode, to be honest. But the demon incursion, there were many civilizations that were on the brink of extinction. I think one of them, known as the Guista Empire, ceased to exist within about a month of it starting. And then the Titanian Empire had amassed several casualties, actually at the hand of Sigorius, to be honest. The Cyrodiil Empire was wiped away to where only King Rakim, I believe, remains. It was a very bloody time. But there was a group of folks that were able to come together, known as the Lightbringers, and they were able to stop the incursion. But not before they were able to crown their new prince, Sigorius.
Upon hearing the word Lightbringers, Lightbringer perks his head up like, eh?
Actually, I've been meaning to ask you about that. Did you name yourself Lightbringer, or was it given to you?
It was given to me by the elders of my village.
Huh. Very interesting. I don't know much about Goliath culture, but perhaps maybe they've heard about the Lightbringers and old stories, and perhaps maybe they saw something of that in you and gave you that name.
Maybe it was partially because I always helped around the village and made sure all the needs of everybody in the village were met.
Very honorable indeed. Somewhat sounds much like the Lightbringers themselves, except for the Lightbringers were a collective of gods that were said to be the protectors of this material plane. But unfortunately, much like in our mortal realm where even the most powerful wizards can folly to that of the blade, gods in their own realm are due the same course of action. Which, if I may, could be the very reason that maybe Dissipator has been unavailable for you, or the Morrigan was unavailable for you, or whatever gods the rest of you worship as well. There could be things that we could not possibly fathom happening in the outer realms that seek their attention to where a bit of loss of life here on the material plane is seen as a slight hindrance in the grand scheme. Which, in all honesty, is another reason why I do not agree with the gods and goddesses just tossing our mortal souls aside.
Let's say I am curious on what's going on out there, that they can't exactly keep an eye on what's going on down here.
Yeah, well, hopefully it all settles itself. There has to be some sort of a balance after all. I guess worst case scenario, it all just falls short and everything's wiped from existence and we would never know it. That's not so bad.
Yeah, man, if only there was some way we could just hit a reset button to stop all this from happening. as he like looks at don't you?
I give you a murderous look and then look back to Lid. So
Lid holds up a finger and he's like, on that note, I would be very careful if you have that power, because after what we've kind of talked about already, if you have been given that power from a given source, more than likely it will not turn out how you wish it to.
Yes. So, with that in mind, I'm going to pivot to another question. Would you say the Demon Lords are the crux of the ruination of Boridil, or would this Nagax character be more the cause of it?
Well, I don't know much about Nagex's upbringing, so you would have to do some research on what that was and exactly how it all transpired to where she felt the need to doing what it is that she was doing. But I do know that her empire did fall on very hard times during the demon incursion, and perhaps maybe that could have led to her need for power, or perhaps even corrupted her. Maybe somehow she got a taste of what powers the demon lords had at their disposal and decided that maybe she could also obtain such power. There's no true way of telling, at least not without finding some type of ruins, some form of history. Which, if you do happen to stumble upon it, I would be privy to excavating said ruins myself.
Could you elaborate on what the connection between you and Lightbringer is? How do you communicate with him?
It's, well, I don't know if you'll like it, but my powers, right? You can call me a dread necromancer. And my powers are fueled by the Shadowfell. And because the Shadowfell lies in the exact same spot as the material plane itself, it's almost like a double world, only through a different lens. And in the Shadowfell is where I am immensely more powerful than I am here. Because of that, everything that lives, or I guess you would say unlives, I don't know exactly how you would say it, but is connected to me in a way. And because of that, I am technically connected to anything here, since the Shadowfell is a cover of the material plane.
So I can reach out to you then?
If you do so wish, but I try to keep my connections short, especially because sometimes people like to yab on, and I'm not very appreciative of it.
No, just as an emergency sort of thing.
Right now, I do have a tether with Lightbringer, and when his is up and you guys come find me again, I could tether you instead.
But if I just need to think to call you, you would be able to hear me?
Yes. Well, not
Okay.
right now, because I have not done the ritual, and yeah, I'm not going to.
No, just a future reference if I need to contact you. I mean, or a sending spell could work, right?
Oh yes, definitely. That would be obviously much preferred.
Okay. So, any artifacts you're looking for in particular?
Honestly, just anything. Anything that seems worthy of being either placed in a museum or to broaden my horizons on lost civilizations is all I'm looking for. Durgam starts to sort of move a little bit, and his eyes begin to open. Seems that we've done enough to at least bring him back to consciousness. And Lid steps back to let Durgam have some space. And Durgam clutches his stomach. Oh. Oh, you're all here still? You were able to get away from the blue dragon?
More
We
like
got him to leave.
Yeah.
You got him
We're
to
sorry,
leave.
D.
You can thank this turtle here.
A turtle? You mean Ndarog doesn't wish to face a turtle?
It's a special turtle.
It would seem so. I've never seen one before, but this isn't exactly what I pictured. No one really understands exactly what it is a turtle should look like anymore. It's not your fault. My people were exterminated long before your time. And Durgam kind of frowns. Sorry to hear it. No need. It is a heavy weight on my shoulders, but for the good of all turtle society and their memory, I must continue on.
Durgam, this is Lid. Lid, this is Durgam.
Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Durgam. And if I may, one simple question, and then I'll let you be. It didn't seem like you tried to put up any type of resistance to Ndarog, and that almost cost you your life. And I have to ask, are you that deathly afraid of blue dragons that you can't even lift a claw to defend your own? And Durgam shakes his head and goes, no, it's anything, really. Honestly, if even these folks here, even though they're quite smaller than I am in my true form, and if they were to raise a blade to me, I wouldn't be able to react, except for run away, of course, because they can't fly like I can. I'm not well suited for it. And there's no shame in that, in all honesty, but you should try, for your own sake, for your own survival, try to learn to at least fight back. That mighty breath weapon of yours might have sent Ndarog scurrying away, in all honesty. I've never been hit by a dragon's breath weapon, but I have seen many be hit by it. And an icy touch as cold as what you're capable of, at least if the stories that I've heard are true, I would not want to be on the receiving end, that's for sure. And Durgam chuckles and goes, I literally choke up. I can't even breathe in the presence of another dragon. And I know people fear me when they see me in my form, typically, but it's almost double for me, it feels like. Well, it's okay. Some of us just aren't meant to be brave, after all. And Lid turns to all of you. Well, now that he's come to, my needs lie elsewhere. Like I said, I'll be studying this tomb a bit more, but it would seem that we all have found quite a few answers that we was trying to uncover today. Somebody tricked Ndarog into thinking that his sapphire lied here, but really it was a ploy to get you all in here to release him. And I do intend to find out exactly what happened.
Lid, what do you prefer us to call you? Lid?
Lid.
Okay, just Lid? Okay. Well, Lid, can I ask you for one thing it would greatly help us? Do you have a map?
No. What would I need a map for?
Just curious if you had one.
everything that I've seen in terms of geography is right up here. And he points to his head. You see, when you don't have a true destination, then you have no need for a map. A map is for those that are lost. And all of those that wander aren't truly. I'm just joking. That's one of the many benefits to a long life and not really needing to hurry up and get somewhere.
Okay, understandable. Then a couple more things. Where is the nearest trading city that's not Crago?
Good question. Perhaps you could go up to Marston. It's not too far from this here mountain.
Yeah.
And they make a nice brew, a beer of sorts, ale, things of that nature. And I'm pretty sure they export them to most of the major cities.
Okay. What do you know about Aussie Thelor?
About a what?
The city? It's much north of here. Thelor? On the map.
I don't believe I've ever been. Is that Dwarven?
It's to the east of it.
To the east of it, you say? Yeah, I can't quite,
Or west of it, sorry.
Oh. Yeah, is that in Elven territory?
Yes, remember our friend, didn't our friend, is it Dusty head up there?
Believe so.
Like everybody else.
Oh, yeah. It would seem that you have fallen upon deaf ears.
I see. Yep. Just trying to figure out where to go next. Because I don't think Craig's an option for us.
It is if you wish to fight the Mad Mummy King.
I do not wish that, no. Not currently. So, few options I'm thinking. We can go to a nice, cooler area in the north. Nice cold lake I've seen in passing. I look to Durgam. Would that be agreeable with you?
Well, of course, if we go to where the snow falls daily, I would be much happier.
Okay.
But I don't know anyone over there for sure, so I guess it's not really my choice alone. As long as we get as far away from this despicable desert, I'm fine. I would not prefer to go any more south, but obviously I'm here to tag along. I feel compelled to still, even after what I've just been through.
I looked over to Babushka. Do you know? I'm not keeping the best track of where. Do you know where your family is at currently, or like the last lead you had?
In the Pirate Isles?
Ah, yes, that I've heard of. I've actually been before. Awful place, but lots of souls depart those isles.
And where is that at exactly? I don't think I've been there.
To the northeast of here, far off the coast.
East.
Far enough away to where you wouldn't make the voyage unless you really needed to.
Okay, and Lightbringer, what about you? You have anything to do in this area, or do you know where you need to go?
My business is in Shadowfell. No need lead for that.
Okay.
Eventually.
And Trina, what about you? I know that.
No, I'm kind of at a loss now.
Yeah, that's what I gathered.
My world just kind of imploded, so I guess I'm just along for the ride for now.
I'll put a hand
Okay.
on her shoulder.
And Jim, I vaguely remember you had more business in the town of Crago. You needed to get in contact with that gang. Is that the best way to say it? Organization, crime syndicate.
I feel like we should avoid Crago for a while.
Yes, that's my intention as well. But if I remember right, the plan was to get that person to drink the petals. Did that happen?
That already happened with the Mummy King.
Yeah, I think you were gone for that session. They used the petals and put it in some cheese.
Good ass cheese.
They delivered the cheese to the cook of that person, and he ate it, and now that's why the Mad Mummy King thing has happened.
Did he get this toe?
Yeah, he got his toe. Yeah, you definitely weren't there then.
No,
he got his toe
okay.
from Madame Clementine.
Oh,
so he's got to
then
go
we
to another hag.
Okay, well, so Brady, I would know of a nice, cool pool or a lake, kind of frozen, we can go to, right?
Correct.
In my travels, and it would be outside.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can ping it on the map.
I don't know where you've left the strongholds and the keeps. I wouldn't try to go there exactly, but I don't know how you have the layout of the map on here.
Essentially, you can choose either this lake or this one, or really anywhere. There's enough, like, obviously this is a large map. Within this 132 or 144 miles, that's just this part right here from side to side, there's definitely lakes that are scattered about, so you know that the main city of the Dwarven Empire is down here.
Okay. And that's, I think, the primary one I'm from as well.
Correct, from what I remember you saying.
Yeah, there's about like 3 or 4 other ones scattered around.
Correct.
And if you recall what I was trying to plan for the northern areas, a lot of these areas were going to be kind of dangerous.
Yup.
I'd like to go to a lake that would be kind of secluded and non-dangerous.
Here,
and okay, yeah, because that's kind of still close to the south. And remember that one plot hook potential thing I had with that one guy?
Yup.
Would that be out of that bounds or within that bounds? Or you will let me know.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
I'm not gonna tell you, Jeffrey.
I know, but let's go to that southern lake there.
Okay.
And I'll teleport us there.
So I don't know, I guess, are you gonna let the party know what you're doing?
I'm gonna look to Lid one more time and say, well, I think I have no idea where I want to go to help our dragon friend heal. Do you have anything else for us, Lid?
No, not at all. Be safe on your travels, and we'll see you sometime in the future.
Okay.
We appreciate all your help, Lid.
And I appreciate your company. Enjoy your new toys. Try to stay out of dragon territory, I guess. At least for now.
I'm the best.
We'll see you. And he nods his head and starts to walk down the tunnel.
I look to everybody else, and I say, I have an idea of where to go to get Durgam healed. You guys trust me?
Well, I mean, you've been teleporting us to out of harm's way somewhat so far, so...
I trust you.
Okay, it's far to the north. It's rather cold, so...
Yeah. Goddamn cold.
Are you guys prepared for that?
It's not in my nature, but I can bear with it.
Okay.
I
Durgan, you
wonder if
ready?
it's in my nature now too. Interesting. We'll find out.
Okay. Well, I shake Durgam, because I'm assuming he's still like half passed out, and I teleport us there.
Okay.
Toktir puts the 2 fingers in the middle of his forehead, and
He gets around to lock arms.
Okay. All right. So you guys teleport way the hell up to the north. What'd they say? 516 miles. And that's where we'll end our session.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
And now Lightbringer's torture begins because he hates the code.
Yes. It's beautiful. I'm just joking. Do I have a blizzard? Oh, snowing. Look at that. Let's play it real quick. Let's hear it. Beautiful. They did a really good job on this one. This is good.
Brady, upon getting there, I'd like to do a few things if we aren't immediately attacked and, whatnot.
Okay.
Just show Durgam the water, help him get in, let him transform, and let him soak there, I guess.
Okay.
And then cast a tiny hut, and then just read my book for the rest of until the morning.
Okay.
And then because it's 10 o'clock now, but I'll just keep casting tiny hut until then. And if it is voided because you decide something else, just let me know.
Okay.
Snowshoes.
Okay, well, that is where we will end tonight's session. So let me go end my stream. I'll be right up back.
Yeah, same. Be right back.
All right. Well, they did it. They got out of there. It was the plan all along for when they came out of the tomb again the second time for Nindarog to be there waiting, because he's very impatient. When he says he wants the sapphire, he wants it yesterday, So he came by to pick it up to make sure they didn't flee with it, especially because he also knew they were palling around with another dragon. You don't bring another dragon to Nindarog's lair. It's just that you don't do that. You don't do that. But whatever. They didn't heed Durgam's warnings, and he suffered vast consequences. But luckily, time heals all wounds in D&D. So now we'll be doing some exploration in the Arctic areas. So I got to start making Dwarven stuff. So that should be fun. But I hope everyone had a good time. Hope you liked what happened today. And until we see you next time,